Everyone knows Orbea as a traditional company, one of the hundreds that exist in the Basque Country. It's a family firm owned by the Orbea family, and it has been based in the town of Eibar since 1847. In 1965, Orbea became a worker-owned cooperative. Over the last 10 years, the company changed radically, and we can say that certain strategies have been decisive. The first of these strategies is the company's determination to internationalize the whole of its distribution policy. And another is perhaps what we at the company call the development of our brand image, which we have certainly paid a lot of attention to. Looking towards the future, we envisage partnerships with distributors who really wish to take part in the Orbea project. And we will be dedicating our resources to this particular aspect over the next few years. At present, we are undergoing major changes, and important innovation is taking place within the company. For us, the users of our bicycles are people with an outdoor lifestyle. A group of people who see Orbea as a reference, or who look to Orbea when they are taking part in the outdoor activities we mentioned. Another aspect that has undergone great change at Orbea is the organization of the company itself. 10 years ago, Orbea was a company based in Mallavia, and which looked towards Mallavia. At that time, our firm was only moderately multinational. Apart from what we could refer to as our commercial distribution, which takes place today in all the countries of the world, with our own commercial distribution companies in some of these countries, such as France, Germany, Belgium and the UK, we also have the following major entities. First of all, there is Orbea USA. Orbea USA is a company with a current turnover of around $20 million. And in the same line, there is also Orbea Australia. We own a production plant in Portugal with a percentage of around 30% of Orbea's turnover. And finally, there is our project for the future, a production plant in China, located in Kunshan, close to Shanghai, and which has a fledgling activity at present, but is set to become an antenna for the Asian markets, from which we aim to transmit our way of doing things, our own policies, and in short, our own culture.
Scared to say what you want to say. Taste too sweet just to end this way.
At Orbea, the task of developing and innovating a new product begins when we're able to produce a data sheet with the specifications we consider critical for defining a new product. These range from an analysis of the market and its environment to variables of a mechanical type, materials, and the most important thing is to put down on paper from the start what exactly our needs are, or how the potential user will perceive this new product that is being created, so that we can bear the final results in mind right from the very start of the process. At Orbea, we are proud to say we control each of the different stages of this whole R&D process, from selecting the materials or calculating finite elements to developing prototypes with the aid of our ABS rapid prototyping machine. And we can even create prototypes in our clean room using the final material, the carbon composite material. A process which allows us to establish the maximum number of possible variables before we embark on the mass production process. When the design is complete and when it complies in advance with the mechanical specifications that we've made, we produce a mold and we manufacture the first preliminary run of parts, which we then go on to test to confirm whether they effectively comply with the mechanical requirements. This is sometimes a lengthy process and sometimes a quick process. And our aim at this stage is to optimize each of the variables that affect the mass production. But our work doesn't stop when mass production begins. When the production is underway, we're also there to make sure that all the manufacturing is being done exactly as we defined it, in its multiple industrial aspects. This can only be done when product development is contemplated from a cross-disciplinary perspective. We need to combine numerous different aspects because this product will effectively go on to be distributed worldwide, and designers, engineers and people from the marketing, logistics and quality departments are all actively involved. The profiles are very different, but all of them work towards the same goal, to fulfill the original requirements set out at the start of the project for how the user will perceive the bicycle, and to offer them a genuine solution adapted to their needs.
Over the last few years, Orbea has taken an active part in developing the European regulations for bicycles. What has this meant for Orbea? It has meant keeping ahead of the competition and equipping our laboratories with all the items that are needed for carrying out this testing. It means that today Orbea is able to perform the standardized testing, and not only the standardized testing, but also a further series of tests that help us in our process of product development and innovation, so that we can simulate how our product is going to perform on the market. This means that at the present time we can carry out different forms of testing. Jump simulation, for example, or head-on crash simulation, comfort testing, and so on. There are many other brands existing today in Europe, but they don't have laboratories with the capacity that ours have. And this makes us the only European brand that can provide a lifelong guarantee for all our aluminium frames and all our carbon frames. Providing a response to customized orders when our distribution channel has very little stock means responding very quickly. To succeed in doing this, we use a tool called B2B, business to business. It is easy to give an example of the life cycle of an order made to Orbea. Imagine a customer in a shop is making an order with a distributor. First of all, the distributor checks to see how much Orbea stock is available for delivery. Perhaps the customer wants to change the wheel or handlebars, or they might prefer different teeth on the gear plate, or a connecting rod of a different length. The person at the distributor shop enters this configuration and then just hits the order button for the order to be sent to Orbea instantly. And a line appears, which is then viewed by the programmer who is just involved in programming the production for the following days. So, this customized order is attended to right away by someone at the Malavia factory, and this person assigns it to a production day depending on the possibilities. Our production system basically involves producing the frames, the paintwork and the assembly to order in flexible cells. To do this, what we need, or what we saw our needs as being at the time, was to divide the production or the assembly lines by product types to provide a better service. As a result, we have 4 assembly lines on which we assemble starters bikes, road bikes, trekking bikes and mountain bikes.
Sudden smell for the sun to rise.
We also have a production line for special frames on which we can construct any type of geometry for any type of frame.
Business and leave my affairs alone. Please tend to your business and leave my affairs alone. If you don't have no business, try to get some of your own. Don't put my business.
We also have other factories outside Spain. One such factory is located at Mamodeiro in Portugal, where the main activity is the assembly of children's bikes. The other plant is in Kunshan in China, and from this year onwards it will be the factory serving the more distant markets, such as the USA or Australia, and basically all the Asian markets. We have recently manufactured the first 3,000 bicycles, and we are now working on the second order, producing the supply for the second batch of bicycles. What we're doing, well, it's quite difficult too, isn't it? But our idea is to implement the Mayabia system over there. For example, at the moment we're working on taking the computer system over there, the ERP, for direct coordination with Orbea Mayabia.
The Imports and Exports Manager. I'm in charge of this area. And we've already sent more than 10 containers to Australia, Taiwan, Singapore and Costa Rica. And we'll be sending a lot more in the future.
In view of the need to integrate and update our paintwork department, what we want to do is to incorporate the latest technology based on applying the paintwork by robot in hermetically sealed rooms, and also the latest product technology. And so, from that moment on, what we will be applying is water-based paint. So the process will be totally clean for both the environment and for the people. The programmer consults the order on the day it's received, and we could be talking about the assembled customized bike being ready in 5 days' time. On the 6th day it would leave the Mayabia factory, and if the order is for Europe, it can be at any destination in 48 hours. So the customized bike could be ready for the user in 8 days. We believe that this is one of the potentials differentiating Orbea from companies manufacturing a standard product, or who don't have the facilities for this type of production. It is very important to be able to deliver the product as quickly as possible, and our aim is to be quick and flexible. We're working on most of the markets we consider we should be in. Almost 50 markets all over the world in 4 continents. I think that gives us a sufficiently global presence to have at least established the basis that will allow us to begin to create, well, images of a global brand on the market. As part of this strategy, the next step is to reinforce our market knowledge. Obviously, we're aware that we can't do it alone. And some time ago now, we began alliance strategies with other brands who also do business in the leisure, sport and recreation areas, with the aim of creating strategic alliances that will enable us to appear before the end consumer as a brand that offers solutions, not just hard product solutions, as in bicycles, but also solutions in other areas relating to outdoor activities. We have evolved very rapidly over the last decade, and we have also grown very quickly as regards our image, our international presence, brand image, the quality of our products and our strategic quality. And we all feel very proud of this evolution. Each one of us feels proud to have made a contribution enabling Orbea to change completely over the last 10 years, in all these aspects. I think this is basically due to several factors. I think the fact that we are a cooperative is fundamental. Being masters of our own destiny means we are involved in each of the decisions we take, and that makes us different. It makes the people who work at Orbea different. I think it also makes the people who don't actually work for Orbea, but are connected with it, different too. I mean the distributors who have been with us for many years. They also feel proud to be part of Orbea right now, as they have lived through that evolution and they have the feeling that they put their stakes in us when it was more difficult to back us, and that gives us a very strong sense of belonging.